Hey everyone, my name's Thomas and this is Welcome to the Team. So, a little about me. My name is Thomas and I am from a little town called Pinjarra in Western Australia. And I think that's one of my biggest strengths but also one of my biggest weaknesses. So, when you're so far removed from the world in a place like Pinjarra, you don't really pick up the skills that other people get in the big cities. And that's something that I think originally attracted me to business, and that's why I chose to study international business. But being from a small town is lots of fun. Growing up was quite easy, and I think that gave me a lot of my easygoing attitude, combined with the already laid-back attitude of Australia. But translating that into business has been a difficult task. So, the Australian work scene, especially when I was graduating, was quite bad. As a matter of fact, I didn't even try to apply for many graduate jobs. I applied for a few high-level graduates jobs in the Australian government, and that was about it. So I realized I was fighting thousands of graduates. I mean, after I had subscribed to the university photo shoots and whatnot, I could see the amount of graduates that even Perth, the small city, was turning out, and it was kind of mind-blowing. Then you go and look on the advertising agencies, and they weren't really having all the listings that you'd think all those graduates would need. So I definitely recognized the need to do my own thing, and that began in the late part of 2024. I started to really get into technology, really start to understand AI. Before that, I had just used it for school and to kind of understand it. And I remember then the policies towards AI was don't use it, you have to check it, even though it was very clear that this was going to change the world. And in March now, 2026, we see that it has changed the world. So I think I was very good to make the call back then to go into tech full time, fully try to understand what this AI is, how is it going to change the world really. So at the time I was working a job as a project administrator, and I could see that organization with AI aside needed help technically and could be doing so many different things with the help of tech that they were kind of just doing because it was too much of a task to do. And so I could see AI coming in, and I realized it was going to change the world. And so around this time I was in my final semester, and that was when I ran into Staniz. And I'm sure you'll meet Staniz shortly, but he and I became friends, not quickly, but over a bit of time we kind of revealed each other's business ideas to each other. We kind of tossed around ideas, and we started getting closer. And that's when we decided, we kind of had all those obvious talks that you would when you're becoming friends with someone about AI and Australian culture. He comes from Singapore, so we're talking about Singapore and Asia and the rest of the world. And really that's when we decided, holy moly, the time is now. We have to start a business. And that's exactly what we did. We didn't really know what we were getting into when we started this, but we realized that we had to start. And that kind of permeated into what is now called Interlinked Global. It's still a young company and we're still trying to find our identity, but I'm really, really excited for what Interlinked Global is. So back then when we began, we kind of settled on this idea of organizational imaging. And so what this meant was we thought that AI would have to go into a company, and the only way to get full reward from using AI is for the AI to understand all the different context points within an organization. And we still think that that is the way that AI is tending to. So we have services like Claude and OpenAI. You can feed it a bit of your organizational context. But we took that a step further, and we think that is going to be in your organization, almost a living, breathing thing, just feeding you everything about your particular company, be it Microsoft or Google, right down to local businesses like barber shops or car rental places. It could be anything. The AI will know your company better than you will. That is a bit of a fundamental belief that we have. However, we have shifted away from this idea because we realize that we cannot build this straight away, especially just a young group of people like us, we can't build anything of that magnitude very quickly. And so we've kind of strayed away from that idea in order to get into the market, to get into this sort of line of business. And we're really, really excited about that. So I'm sure you'll hear all about the company going forward, but this video is welcoming me. So I'll tell you a bit more about myself. So I graduated high school in 2019. I remember back then I was very good at maths and physics and chemistry, but I absolutely did not want to do any more of it. I wanted to understand what I liked. And so I initially enrolled in university, but then I quickly quit. Much to everyone's surprise, I just realized like I could study to be an engineer, or I could study to be a chemist or something like that. But my love for the subject matter was going to deteriorate very quickly. I really do enjoy math, and I really do enjoy problem solving and that nature of thinking. But if I had went and studied then, I would have hated those subjects, and I feel like I made the decision even now. So after that, I was taking the easy road, the easy path in life. I had worked a few jobs, got some like real experience. So I was at a restaurant originally. I worked at a Subway for a bit. I did all sorts of stuff. I was even on a boat dock for a while. So I got like a good grip of what the world kind of was quite quickly. And all the while I was studying the one thing that my school failed to teach me, which was kind of finances. And I realized like I really did have this love for business and this understanding of the world that I think back then was so naive, but in hindsight it feels so visceral. Like I knew that I wanted to do business, and I knew that I wanted to be a businessman. And so I started to read up a lot of books, and I started to take my finances a bit seriously. I started investing back then, and that was what kind of got me into international business. I remember flicking back through my course briefs, and I went through every single subject, and they all felt like they were just going to land me a corporate job. But the one that stuck out was international business. And I looked into it, and it was quite new, and it was quite a bit airy-fairy, so I kind of knew what I was walking into. But that degree, it did allow me to move into Perth, and it did widen my horizons, especially coming from Mandurah. But it also gave me the skills to quickly evaluate that Perth was not the best place to be for business. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. But in hindsight, I'm glad I took the degree. I got to go to Indonesia and Japan while studying, and that was a heap of fun. So my horizons definitely were broadened in that sense. And then I think with that understanding now that I really did like business, but I didn't like the corporate side of business, I wanted to like do my own thing. And so that quickly spurred me on in the age of AI to start my own. And along with Staniz, we were starting to build the early like signals of a good business. Like we're still so in this, we think we have a good direction with our first product, BizSec, and we are keen to fly to San Francisco to present at a conference that's coming up. We have a lot of things that's going our way. We're currently in the midst of creating our marketing system, hence why this video is being made. So we realize that to become an authority figure in the space, we have to be the voice of reason within ASEAN on the subject of corporate compliance and on technology and the changes in AI. And the only way to do that is to put ourselves out there. And along with Staniz and the rest of the team, we're going to try and build this into something great. And I'm really, really excited to take you guys along. And I'm hoping that you'll enjoy the journey too.